Hello, Internet. Time for yet another Wednesday's serial. Avengers vs. X-Men intro. So, this is the big Marvel event, and as always, they're claiming there's all these things that led into it, but you don't need to have read them to understand and enjoy the story. But then, how are they relevant, and yada yada. And they're claiming this is a culmination of a lot of things, which means that if you haven't been following it, you're going to be incredibly lost. Now, you've had the whole Cable event in which you see Cable saying that the X-Men are going to fight the Avengers. Not really clear what for. Hopefully we'll see. We've had the Children's Crusade, which was essentially a young Avengers tale told with the Avengers to help it sell better, in which we see the Scarlet Witch come back, not really trusted by anyone, and then there's no real resolution because she, once upon a time, as I'm sure you know, said no more mutants, and then there weren't any until Hope. And now we're seeing Hope come up, and she was part of an X-Men story way back. She has no lineage that we actually know of. She looks a lot like Jean Grey. She's uppity, but she's essentially a foster Summers child as she was raised by Cable, who, as we said, is away but shall return as a Deus Ex Machina, which is a touch annoying. Now, for I'm coming at this, I read those. I will not read every tie-in, which is like every Avengers and X-Men comic. I'm not sure if Uncanny X-Force is tying in. That's like the only book that I think would really be affected that I'm reading right now. So we'll see. I'm hoping not, because I'd rather that does its own thing. But it's kind of annoying that it's across that many books, and they've done this before, and like I read all of Civil War, and I read a good chunk of Secret Invasion, and then I got kind of fed up. But for some reason, I'm pulled in with Avengers vs. X-Men. I think it's because the expectations are so clear, right? Like, they're claiming things will change, though I think the real shakeup is going to be that creative teams are changing after this, which is known. I mean, Hickman's leaving Fantastic Four at the end of this year, Bendis is leaving Avengers at the end of this year, and then they're going to swap over other things, and they haven't bothered to mention if X-Men people are going to Avengers, or maybe they haven't, something that I didn't bother to read. Seem to remember a rumbling, and I don't think anyone really cares about any of the X-writers as far as the talent as much as they care about Avengers creators right now. Just because, I mean, Bendis is like a name, whereas I think the only X title that really matters right now is X-Force, which is Remender, and he hasn't had such a long tenure yet, and he also already has an Avengers title, and I think he's the only creator that you can say that for right now. So there you go. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. So there's all this hoopla to-do going into it. I'd like to point out that I am rooting Team X-Men because I believe in the underdog. And if you don't think the X-Men are the underdogs, let me break this down for you. They've said one team will lose. I don't think losing is going to have huge consequences, but I can tell you right now, pretty much, I mean, obviously I can't, but I can pretty much tell you right now, the X-Men will lose. Why? Because Fox owns the rights to the X-Men movies, whereas Marvel Studios owns the movie rights to the Avengers movies, which means Marvel has a very vested interest in making the Avengers win. Also, whereas I'm sure there'll be a morality thing, the way they've been demonizing Scott Summers, who is the leader of this X-Men and this X-Men pack. How Wolverine plays into that, considering he's the other half. Really? I don't know. But they always have Wolverine on the X-Men side during all these solicits, despite the fact that Wolverine has split off the X-Men from the Avengers, and the fact that Wolverine himself is an Avenger now, even though you don't see him in too many Avenger books comparatively to other characters, so that's weird, right? I mean, I don't know, it's a lot of hoopla and loop-de-doo, but blah. Now, I'd be curious to hear if any of you found anything else, but I got a few interesting goodies, despite the fact I didn't make it to the release party yesterday. And I was hoping to video yesterday, but it snowed, I got lazy, I'm making it now. There's like a lithograph, and then they have a poster in the button I have before. They have a poster like, I stand with the X-Men, yay! But what's interesting is the poster that is just part of this lithograph. What's interesting about this as a big promotional item that they're putting out is that the X-Men are underrepresented. It's an unfair distribution, not unlike popularity. I mean, because, Cyclops and Wolverine, but I mean, Magneto is one of them. Storm, I get, but she's so underplayed. She's not where she used to be, and I think that's kind of a shame. Emma Frost is there, though she has some love-hate. I mean, there's no, like, Gambit here or something, big fan favorite. And they have Namor. I keep forgetting he's an X-Men now. Like, really? Namor? Namor is a terrible character. I'm just gonna come out and say, I know he's Marvel's first mutant, and he's supposed to be the Aquaman equivalent. I can say words or whatever, but he is. I mean, his thing is he's an ass, and he had a thing for Sue Richard. He's never seen a comic in which he was a compelling or interesting character. I don't know. On this X-Men side, let's see here. There's Captain America, who has his own fandom. There's Iron Man, who has his own fandom. There's Spider-Man, who is his own branch of the Marvel Universe, separate from the Avengers. Not even like Wolverine. Like, Wolverine, all that is considered part of the X family, and he has a book or two now, maybe three, one of the crappy, I don't know. I mean, obviously, Wolverine, Spider-Man, that should balance each other out for popularity, but honestly, not really. You have the Hulk, who has its own pile going on, but it's the Green Hulk, not the Red Hulk. What? Considering, I don't know, whatever. There's Thor. Thor's about as popular as it's ever been right now. I don't know. There's Black Widow, not Black Cat, Black Widow there, who's probably one of the only Avengers here who's her own deal. And Hawkeye, who, I guess, kind of just an Avengers side character, though more popular. They make them, I don't know, it just feels like they're favoring the Avengers right here, so I don't know what that is to you. But I'm going to go to the books now, which is probably much more interesting. So first, there is this Avengers vs. X-Men Zero, which is just really a Hope Summers story preceded by a Scarlet Witch story. Now, what's interesting about this cover is actually all the awesome art is covered up by this logo. I would highly recommend you look up this image somehow online. I have the Marvel calendar, which they put out a promotional thing at the beginning of the year, and this was the image for last month, and it's kind of awkward because they kind of make it look like you can see Hope's nipple. Marvel, she's like, 16? That's not cool. But the background here is a lot of beautiful character work done in kind of this etching style, and it's really interesting to look at. It's the exact same style as Daredevil 10 from earlier this month with that kind of cover style, and it's a very beautiful cover despite the Hope nipple thing. So I would encourage you to go take a look at that if you're interested in all this. So yeah, we see the Scarlet Witch take out all these MODOKs, and that's where the issue starts. And it's kind of, a fun battle. And then Spider-Woman and Miss Marvel come in and are like, hey, you should come back to the mansion. We're all family. It's cool. And, it's whatever. I don't really know the Avengers as far as that. Spider-Woman seems like a character you throw in when you're just trying to throw in a female character. Near as I can tell, she's not okay. And then so Scarlet Witch goes back, and then her husband, the Vision, a robot, kicks her out for something that she did about controlling his body. Which seems weird because she's magic and he's a robot. Like, even for like comic book logic, shouldn't that be like a tech guy doing? I don't know. Also, this is a big deal, apparently. I'm guessing this happened during Avengers Dissembled or something, or did I miss something? Like, I don't remember this happening because I don't care about the Avengers. And, oh my gosh. And then you get the Hope Summers thing where she blasts Cyclops off and then takes off in a frickin' jetpack. She's all like, I'm an angsty teen, what? Which, Cyclops can really get on her case. That's what the X-Men were founded on for like 20 or 30 years, really? I mean, come on. He has to remember founding X-Factor, right? Anyways, but no, he's all protective of her because she's the hope of the future and she just wants to do good. It's such a weird dynamic, and I don't know a soul who finds this interesting. I keep hearing the same thing. Yeah, and I know who Hope is. I know what her powers are. Power manipulation, sealing powers, and then that. But nobody, gets the character because she's not developed, and bleh. Okay, I just cracked open the first issue, and this is stupid. Okay, here's the Avengers, here's the X-Men. So the Avengers apparently get Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, Hawkeye, Miss Marvel, Spider-Man, the Protector, Black Widow, Vision, War Machine, Captain Britain, Valkyrie, Doctor Strange, Spider-Woman, Red Hulk, Luke Cage, Mockingbird, Daredevil, The Thing, Giant Man, Iron Fist, Black Panthers, and then on the fence are Wolverine and Beast, and then the X-Men just get Cyclops, Hope, Emma Frost, Magneto, Colossus, and Namor. Really? Really? I know there's more X-Men. I know. They don't even have Iceman in here or anything. Like, what? It's so weird. Anyways, yeah, that blew me away. And from here, I'm just going to discuss round one, because it really ends right where it begins, as it were, unsurprisingly. First off, there's this little stupid AR thing all throughout the comic. It's really annoying. I've assumed it means altered reality with some dumb thing they're trying to push as a gimmick. It really just takes away from the comic. Stop doing that. So essentially, the Phoenix Force is coming to Earth, as Nova kind of warned them. That was kind of a weird aside. Whatever. So Cap talks to Wolverine. Wolverine kind of drops what he knows about the Phoenix Force. Frankly, they were all slightly involved during the Dark Phoenix saga, and they should have known prior, and it's not like there haven't been other events. So, whatever. I guess they're not the best no-keepers on giant intergalactic forces that could potentially hurt the planet. I guess that's the Fantastic Four's realm. So Cap comes to talk to Cyclops about it, because apparently they get the feeling that the Phoenix is leading to Hope, even though for them there's no real reason to believe that except on Wolverine's word and, Wolverine. So off of that, they want to take Hope into custody. They want to take a minor who technically belongs to a sovereign nation into custody for protective rights, even though there's no real reason to know what's going on. And Cap basically comes and just says this to the leader of a sovereign, small but sovereign now nation, that was established so that the mutants could have their own place after being screwed over tons of times, and after apparently the mutants were held into custody during the 198 period of Marvel's time, where the government basically had them in light internment camps. So yeah. So then the Avengers go to invade the island, and then the X-Men are simply fighting back. Really? Really? Like, I know the Avengers aren't supposed to necessarily follow the rules or anything, but I mean, from an outside perspective, like, they're total assholes. Like, that's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, I am curious to see where the next step is. But the fact that a big part of what used to make these Marvel events, starting with Civil War, was they had a frontline something, which happened with World War Hulk and whatnot, where you had Ben Urch and these reporters getting tangled into it, and then the reporters kind of dealing with it, but also telling the story from a journalistic perspective of the events unfolding as they unfold before, things became clear. Oh, that would be beautiful. Beautiful in this event. I would snatch that up, and they're not putting it out there, which is a shame, because now that, with the whole internet idea and all that, they could totally do some cool things with that, and they could do features on different characters, and it'd be a good way to bring people up to speed with different characters, and really make this an event and give a small twist on it, since they're pouring every book they can at it anyways, right? So yeah, that's my initial thoughts on Avengers vs. X-Men. Long ramble, but hope you guys appreciate that. I'd certainly love to, hear your thoughts on Avengers vs. X-Men. Comments, link me your videos, whatever. Yeah, let me know, and I will talk to y'all soon.